Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie Webbin.
And today we'll be playing Part 5 of Lost Odyssey up until we finish Disc 2. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week?
Mine was... It continued to be full of Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice.
Because...
Oh yeah, bitch.
Yeah, I've just gotten myself real addicted to it again.
I've heard that game is good.
It is really good.
From you.
Yes. I will continue
And
to say
everyone
that
else.
it's good. And I've been RPing, and that's been fun, so...
Nice.
Really enjoying myself there. I also wanted to share something. I was up really late the other night, and I've been putting on Steven Universe to fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And this being the sacred month of Halloween, I came up with a terrible Steven Universe creepypasta.
Yes.
And bear in mind, I wrote this at like 2 a.m. When I was falling asleep.
Love it.
In the episode Catch and Release, Steven goes into Rose's room and asks to go to the basement to find Peridot. In reality, he was trapped in Rose's room forever, and all the events afterwards were illusions made by the room, leading up to him slowly going insane and thinking everything was okay at the end. Spinel was a product of his warped mental state, and then he died. The end.
I love it.
Wow, really? That one really made me think. It's like we live in a society, but actually it's Steven lives in a room.
The funniest thing about that to me is that this could have happened in any of the episodes where he goes into Rose's room. Mm-hmm. Because, like, he goes into Rose's room in the very first season and gets fucking trapped in there, and the room creates all of Beach City.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't it happen then?
Right.
And then there's the episode where, like, it makes a clone of Connie. Why didn't it happen then? Like, why was
Right.
it in this specific episode?
That is like extra funny. I like that.
Thank you.
My creepypasta I just thought of is the first time he goes into Lion's Mane and he almost suffocates. He actually does suffocate and die, and everything else is just a coma dream.
Yes. That's also a good one. Well, and part of why I was thinking of this, too, was because when he first goes into the room, like, he wants to see the end of his video game, but I'm wondering if he ever actually saw the end of that video game, because he gets this really dumb, like, cheesy ending to this golf RPG that he's playing. And I'm wondering if it's just... He wants a really happy ending for this game. Like, maybe it's actually a really sad ending. So,
Also, did Rebecca Sugar invent Golf Story before it happened?
I know, right? Like, that episode came out, and then Golf Story became a thing, and I was like, I have to play this game.
Right?
I'm legally
thing about
obligated as a Steven Universe fan.
Did you ever play Golf Story? Did you?
Yes,
play?
I have. I haven't finished
bad.
it, but I have been playing it. Yes.
The thing about Golf Story is, that's the kind of idea where, like, and I don't mean this to denigrate the Golf Story developers at all, it is the kind of extremely obvious, like, video gamey stupid idea that you could come up with as a gag for a TV show. And we're now in a day and age where if someone has a dumb idea like that,
They just make
they
a game
then go
out of
and
it.
make it.
Yeah.
Instead of back in the past where some people would have a dumb idea like that and then laugh and then go on with their lives. It's like, no, we're making that. And the sort of indie space has been cultivated such that that kind of approach is appreciated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're like, yeah, no, you can make a game based on a very simple little dumb gimmick, and it can either go in a dumb gimmicky direction, like Untitled Goose Game, or it can go in a, no, we're making this a real-ass game, like Golf Story. Again, not to denigrate either of those developers. When I say not a real-ass game, I just mean... You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Untitled Goose Story very much is in the modern indie sort of vein of design philosophy, whereas from what I've heard, Golf Story is more of a traditionally designed video game, despite its goofy premise. But yeah, isn't that a fun little culture we have?
Yeah. If only TV would do the same thing, and so Gravity Falls Duck-tective would become real.
Exactly. Like if that was a video game, it would. You know,
I would watch
in the game industry, it would.
Though technically, it did happen because Detective Pikachu is basically Duck-tective.
Yeah,
there you go.
What about you, Maddie? How was your week?
My week was good. Fun little confession from last time that I didn't share last time. I hadn't actually played the game last week. So 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, due to some life shenanigans that was actually rather upsetting, I ended up not having my Xbox. So everything from starting with Tosca Village on, I hadn't actually played. I watched the cutscenes and I've played the game before, right? The point is, I got my Xbox back on Friday, and I don't think I played any on Friday. So on Saturday, starting with Saturday and then last night, I had to play basically 2 weeks worth of game.
Yeah.
Because the main chunk of gameplay last week was the Witch's Mansion, so I had to play that and Black Cave and the Experimental Staff, which is a lot.
Yeah, Experimental Staff is definitely the end of a disc dungeon. Unlike the Crimson Forest was.
So I was playing a lot of Lost Odyssey the last 2 days. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
I am really enjoying the game, and the gameplay is good, except for something that we'll be discussing later. But good Lord. As for other things, I also have something that I've created. It is a really, really bad joke. Hey, what's Kanye West's favorite breakfast?
What is it?
It's I'm gonna let you finish.
Wow. Well done.
Y'all know it's good.
Not only is it a bad pun on omelet, it's also a reference from 2006.
Yes.
You know what's hilarious? I sometimes keep track of when things happen in the world based on Kanye. Literally, someone's like, hey, when did Hurricane Katrina happen? And keep in mind, that's a very important event in my life, because the same year as Hurricane Katrina was also Hurricane Rita, which hit my area of Texas. So I'll be like, oh, when did that happen? And I'll be like, well, let's see. Kanye said the thing about George Bush, so it was definitely Bush's administration. And he said, and 808s and Heartbreak came out in 2008, and the thing with Taylor Swift happened in 2006. Like there's a number of times when I have remembered when something happened in the world based on Kanye's career. So that's fun.
So, Maddie, being around the age that I was, you were probably taking AP tests when the I'm gonna let you finish thing happened. Did you guys do the sit-in protest joke whatever thing where everyone wrote, all right, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the greatest music video of all time, and then scratch it out with the one line that you do for the AP test, and then write your essay so that everybody's like the part
that's hilarious, and I hadn't heard of that. Oh my god! But yeah, because the rule is that if you scratch something out, it didn't happen.
Yeah, they can't grade you on it, but obviously they can still read it, and so everybody wrote that on the top of their essay.
That is so fucking funny. I love that shit. That's great. Fun fact. Sorry, I know this is a lot, but y'all will be interested to hear this. So, the listeners, now that I'm a tutor, so of course, like memes. Yeah. All the kids, they think they fucking invented memes. No, they fucking didn't. Look, we invented memes, okay?
Right.
Our generation. We know what fucking memes are, okay? God. Also, we're the ones who invented Vine, not you and your TikTok. Kids these days. The point is, the kids will sometimes say, like, oh, you probably don't understand this. And then they'll say, like, share a meme that, like, predates their life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I understand that.
I created that.
Kid. Yeah. But there's a whole new subculture of memes specifically around the SAT and specifically the PSAT, and here's why. The PSAT, every kid in the whole goddamn country takes the same test on the same day, and you only take it once. So the day of the PSAT or the day after, there'll just be tons of memes referencing like the reading passages or referencing like
That's
specific
awesome.
math problems. And that's so cool because like if you're an outsider, there's no possible way to get it because they don't release the test questions.
Yeah.
Right? It's not transparent. So literally it's just all these jokes that only everyone else who also took the test on the same day as you gets.
That's awesome.
And some of them, and my students were explaining some of them, and I can't remember, of course, they're a little too complicated, but some of them were, like, really funny, too. Again, because, like, you know, like, a passing reference to something, reference humor, whatever, but, like, an actually deep and sophisticated reference to something weaved in with a meme is stupid funny, right? Mm-hmm. And, again, you'll only get it if you just took the test yesterday.
That's awesome.
I've even had kids be like, oh, yeah, I really love the PSAT because of the memes.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Anyway, what else did I do last week? I also finally watched the film Adaptation, and it's like the best film in the whole world. So yeah.
I thought you didn't finish your clause there. I thought you were like the film adaptation of blah blah blah. I was waiting for an of.
It's have y'all seen that movie?
No, I don't even know what it is.
It's a goddamn amazing movie. It's written by Charlie Kaufman and directed by Spike Jonze, so that probably it gives the impression of what kind of movie it is. Mm-hmm. It's an absolutely crazy movie. It is, in fact, a movie about... It is an adaptation of a book called The Orchid Thief, but the way that they adapted the book The Orchid Thief is to make a story about Nick Cage playing Charlie Kaufman trying to adapt the book The Orchid Thief into a movie.
Nice.
And it's Nick Cage is, in case y'all weren't aware of this yet, an actual genius and an actual incredible actor. Yeah. And this is, and I've always believed that. I've always been a huge Nick Cage fan, and this might be the best performance I've ever seen of his whole career. It's a phenomenal film. It gets absolutely crazy, but not in the way you think. The way that you'd expect it to be crazy stops being the case 2/3 of the way through, and then it gets crazy in a way you didn't expect.
Nice.
And it's a fantastic film.
Higurashi 2002.
Yeah, basically. Is that when Higurashi came out?
What? Is
Higurashi really that old?
It's either 2002 or 2005. The first console version was on PS2. So. I
knew it was a long ass time ago, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, so actually the movie, the Higurashi and this movie were contemporaries then. So there you go. Yeah, no, that's it for me. Life is good.
Nice. So my week was really, really filled with Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory, because both of those games just came out on Switch. I didn't buy it on Switch because I already own both of the games, and there's not like much new pack-in power. I'll probably end up getting the new one on the PC as soon as mods start coming out, because that's why you buy PC games, is for cool-ass mods. But back when I got Hacker's Memory, I didn't play it right away because I knew that it was the exact same fucking game, just like... So... Do you remember back after the Twilight series had finished, and then Stephanie Meyer wrote Blue Midnight, which is literally Twilight? She just replaced all of Bella's parts with Edward's parts. And
I didn't know that.
But yeah, so she released a book that's literally just Twilight, beat for beat, story for story. It's just in all of the scenes, you read it from Edward's perspective.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I just forgot the name of it. Yeah.
And so... And so Hacker's Memory is like that, but not like that. It's like, this is about the same ordeal that happens in Tokyo. You're just going to play the non-superpowered people that were on the fringes of the main JRPG you just played. Same dungeons, same Digimon. There's just more this time, and it's like the same shit each time. And it's like, okay, but like... I just played this game, and so I put it off, and I've put it off long enough where I don't remember enough about Cyber Sleuth, where it feels new. Like, I feel like I'm exploring a dungeon, not knowing where I'm going and stuff, and so I, like, waited the perfect amount of time, and that game fucking whips, man. Like, not just as a Digimon fan, but, like actual
hell yeah
reasons it whips, and it's definitely, like, if if it didn't require playing an entire other game, I would say we should play Hacker's Memory for the Digimon podcast I eventually make us do. But it's definitely a sequel. Like, it only makes sense that like a scene is important because you know the characters that show up, unlike in Cyber Sleuth where a character shows up and you're just like, this guy's weird, and then you turn out it's a big thing later, etc. But yeah, it's great, and it may, and this is a tentative, and I feel nervous announcing it. It may have made me decide to finally play all of the Digimon games. And so after I finish this one, I might just dive in and play all of the ones that I haven't played. Because I was going to ask Matt who his favorite Digidestin was. Digidestin being loosely defined as every sort of Digimon party member in the whole saga. And then I was Googling to see like which ones there were, and there were so many that I don't even know, and I'm like, man, I should go meet these kids. So I'm probably going to go meet these kids, and I'll report back.
Can I just put a point on something? Digidestined.
It's better than Chosen Children, which is the official Japanese thing. Like, that's boring. It's just Chosen Children.
No, it's not. It's worse. We have to say Digi in front of every word because it's Digimon. Well,
yes. But it's great. But, yeah, to be fair, Digidestin is only used in one season, but it means a thing. And so it's a good word for it. But, yeah, that's all I did all week. I've put in, like, 15 hours of a video game that wasn't Lost Odyssey or Higurashi. And I also played Lost Odyssey and Higurashi, so that's all I've done.
There you go.
Yeah. But, yeah, let's listen to some fucking phenomenal music by Nobuo Uematsu this week.
Which one are you going to go with?
So the second song I'm going to pick today is going to be The Escape. The first song I picked today is going to be something else. I don't know what it is.
Maybe the boss battle?
Maybe the boss battle. But music was real good this whole week. But
yeah. Jesus Christ.
But after that, we will get this party started. So, we make it through the Black Cave, and if you're Eli, you saw like half of one cutscene in the Black Cave, and that was it. Because so much of it was just like incidental minor storytelling that's not important. It just was like...
It's just a dungeon.
It's just a dungeon. So there was like dungeon storytelling on like, oh, what happened here, blah, 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 blah. The only sort of important thing is along the way they see the bodies of some goats and soldiers, and they were obviously trying to come through Sarah's magic to get Tosca Village and take them to the war effort, and the magic done fucked them up. And that was it. And then you fight a bunch of bullshit bird mobs. The mobs themselves aren't bullshit, so you fight them and you're lured into a false sense of security to then go and face the boss when you're ready, and then the boss just wrecks your shit. But other than that,
we have so different experiences. I had to piece out of the dungeon because I was having so much trouble with the mobs, and then the boss wasn't hard at all.
Yeah, so
that's good.
It's funny, like if every episode was just like Sam thinks it's hard and Maddie thinks it's easy, or vice versa, it would make sense. But I feel like it's like we're playing different games with different difficulty, with different like difficulty curves entirely. It's bizarre.
So the reason the boss was hard for me is because it was a test of understanding the GC meter that I failed, and I didn't realize I was failing it until everyone was dead but my immortals. So what it does is it hides behind a bunch of bodies. and therefore its GC meter is like 8,000. But the turn that you kill one of the bodies, it will summon a body to replace it. But as discussed way back long time ago, healing does not restore your GC meter. So you need to kill number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I was killing number 1 over and over again, which doesn't affect the GC meter at all. And I was just trying to clear him out. And so by the time I was like, wait, why does he still have GC? I've done like so much damage. And then I saw the guy on the far right. I'm like, oh, it's him. He did it.
Son of a
I hate it when there's a guy on the far right.
Yeah. Me too.
I will say, I guess we're not quite the boss battle yet, but I like how this game is starting to, both the boss and the mobs in this dungeon, were making me start to understand the idea that you don't have to get the GC all the way down to 0 before attacking the back row.
Yeah.
If the GC is at 4, you might as well just not even fucking bother. You're going to do shit damage. You're going to be wasting your high-level spells and doing 90 hit points of damage. But if you get the GC just down halfway, then that's enough. That's enough to start hitting them. If that back row enemy really needs to get dead.
Yeah.
Right? So make sort of like... The thing is, there's not a ton of mobs in this dungeon.
Yeah.
There's only a few specific... Okay, I'm pretty sure this game does something I love, which is that the mobs are not procedurally generated. They are specifically designed mobs. Like, what I'm saying is you're always going to see 3 of this guy and 2 of this guy.
Oh, yeah,
or
definitely.
4 of this guy in the front row and 1 in the back row. Because there's a finite number of specifically designed mobs, and it's not just like we used RNG to pick 4 monsters from this dungeon's pool. And that's good because they're all very, very smartly put together. And they all take fucking forever. But as you fight them over and over and over and over and over, they start to take not so much forever because you think of good strategies to take them all out faster.
And then also, every level fucking counts in this game. Like, I will... Yeah. Like, in the Sorcerer's Mansion more than Black Cave, because Black Cave I was a little more ready when I went in. But Sorcerer's Mansion, I couldn't take down a single fucking mob. Like, I was ending up having to run from combat, not just running because I didn't want to do it. Like, I was barely surviving. And then I finally took one down, and it leveled me up, and then the rest of the thing I could handle. And so it's like every single level is
I also totally agree
balanced.
with you about... I totally agree with you about there being some kind of level rubber banding.
Oh, it definitely is. You can tell because it has Shining Force experience, which is it resets every 100 points, and that usually means there's rubber banding behind the scenes.
Yeah, I would... Oh, so they can lie to you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They do. It's easier to lie to you when the numbers are all fake anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, I would be fighting for a long time with the same 5 people, and 2 of them would be on the sidelines, and eventually you'd be like, oh, they're down by 2 or even 3 whole levels. I would swap them in, and they'd be back in, like, a couple battles.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of shocking, actually, how quickly they would catch up.
Yeah.
If
only there was SP rubber banding as well, because like Sarah's great and she is really awesome, but it's taken forever for me to get her some fucking skills. So it's like I can put her in and now she's up to level with everybody else, but for Gongora I shoved her to the side so that Jansen could come in because he's a better mage right now.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I'm also having a hard time picking my party. I'm already having a hard time with it. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is, I don't know. We should probably stop talking about gameplay in a second. But since we're on the topic, did you get Jansen's fucking amazing skill?
Which one?
I got it at the very end of this week's play during the escape sequence because I was kind of getting tired of Jansen. I was like, man, I like Jansen as a character, but he hasn't really been contributing to battle a lot lately. And his skills are nothing special. And then as I'm like the second to last battle, no, I think it was the last battle of the entire week before I escaped, he levels up and gets 2 accessory slots.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he gets a skill where he gets to have 2 accessories. And of course, the way this game works is that means all the immortals can learn that skill.
Yeah. And of course, he also then can have 2 extra skills, so you can give him spirit and composite magic, because he learns white and black by himself, and now he can just be the best-ass mage in the whole goddamn world.
Yep.
Nice.
And all your buddies now can not only have 2 accessories equipped, but be learning 2 skills at once.
Yeah.
from the accessories.
There's a skill coming that is like plus 10 skill slots, and I'm so ready for it because catching...
The plus 3 one is already great.
I don't have the plus 3 one.
It's an accessory that you find as a chest, I think.
Hopefully not in the experimental staff, because that's gone forever.
You might not have noticed No, it's not.
Okay.
It's in the village. It's in Spooky Town.
Okay.
The name of the accessory sounds like like literally when you get the accessory, you're like, oh, that thing teaches me like immunity to paralysis, so you don't look at it.
Okay. I'll go and check. But
fucking check. Anyway, yeah, so that gives you 3 slots, which is funny. When it's equipment, and now you have 3 more skill slots. But once you learn that skill, you can equip the skill, but it takes up one of your slots, so it's really more like 2 skill slots.
Yeah.
But at any rate, is there anything else we want to chat about for this dungeon?
No, I think that's it. So we get through the Black Cave and we make it to the village of Saman, or if you're me, you realize that you missed a whole bunch of optional spells, so you go and you do that real quick. Backtracking
after the witch's mansion to the previous town is there's a lot of shit there.
Yeah, but so I went and got all of that, and then in Saman, everything is haunted. Like spooky Halloween Lost Odyssey episode ×2 combo Bob. And
it's even more Halloween. Last week I said that the Witch's Mansion was the end of Spooky Town, but I forgot.
There's an actual spooky town. And
also the architecture is like it's like Eastern European style, like German-ass architecture, which is like what you envision in your head when you're thinking of like a spooky ghost town. You know, like at least in my mind, it fits perfectly. So like, it's not just that it's haunted. Like this is just a weird, spooky provincial town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you get there, Seth is like, "This used to be the desert city Lohan, and instead it is a ghost town." Like, figuratively, but also maybe literally, there's nobody here. And when you talk to the NPCs, they're like, yeah, people stopped coming because like every couple of days there's a big purple light, and then it makes all the kids into creepy kids, and it makes all the old people into creepy old people, and this place is a fucking nightmare, and I wish I could leave, but this is my home. And
and it's important that this town is allegedly a huge bustling it's a commerce town, so it's known as a merchant village where lots of trade happens.
And so we stumble into these people that are like, hey, we're going to go and punch that purple light and see if we can save our town, but you need to go find our captain. And so you look everywhere and take forever, and then you realize that one of these doors wasn't a closet, it was supposed to be a bathroom, but it wasn't marked, so how could I have ever known that without just stumbling into it? And the captain was in the bathroom, and you get together and sail off. And that was another 2 of our 5 hours we played this week. The first hour was the Black Cave, the second hour was wandering around Saman. But there was not a lot of plot this week. Is my point.
Yeah.
But
and also at the same time you can go to Saman. You can also on the world map, just conspicuously, you can just, if you want to, go to the ice mountain path, which is where you're supposed to go because your friends are like, we got to go to Gotsa. So you go to the ice mountain path, and first of all, the music is amazing, and you run down it a little bit, and then it turns out that the ice cavern is blocked off with ice. Right? It's like frozen solid, and they're like, we can't go this way. And I'm like, bitch, have you played Final Fantasy IV? Does one of you need to undergo some character growth so that you can learn the fire spell?
Yeah.
Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No, because I haven't played the game yet.
Since I've played it.
But as a reminder, one of FF4's early brilliant narrative beats that it really innovated in the whole idea of like combining RPG mechanics with an actual plot is that a character is scared of fire, and then she overcomes her fear of fire by doing some personal growth and then is able to cast a fire spell, which gets you past the gating of the mountain path being frozen over, which is extremely fucking good.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently they haven't played that game, even though Takeguchi literally made that game. So they're just like, so it's just funny. They're like, it's where you have to go. It's just like, well, I guess the ice will be gone later after we do some plot.
Yeah,
Let's go back to the town of Saman.
I didn't even notice that because Saman is listed first, and so I just went to the first blue
first
thing
just to see.
Yeah. But I thought because we had mentioned needing a boat to get through the harsh rapids. And so here we're talking about a captain and getting on a boat that they mentioned can go through the harsh rapids. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I didn't even think to go and check the mountain cave being blocked with thick ice. You'll need the fire rod. But
the funny thing is, the same thing happened in the last town, right? It was like, we got to go through the black cave. Oh, but the witch blocked it. Mm-hmm. But this wasn't that. It was like, we got to go through the ice cave, and it's blocked. But we're not gonna. It's not blocked by a villain. It just is blocked, and we're not gonna go fix it being blocked. We're just gonna go to the nearby town because it's there.
Yeah. But so we all volunteer to go and punch the big spooky light with the captain. So we get on their ship, which I like more than our ship, even though our ship is really cool. Their ship, there's something about it. It's
yeah.
So what it is this ship is the Queen Fury from Legend of Dragoon. That's why I fucking like it. It's like that exact same fucking style. So
it's
I'm
like
just
ricketier. It's like ricketier and shittier and more of an actual ship and not like a crazy technology thing.
Yeah, I only like things that remind me of Legend of Dragoon, apparently.
No, I also had a very strong, just like, hell yeah, this rules when I was on the ship.
Yeah. So when we get on the ship, Ming senses that it's some big old magic-y thing, and everyone says magic energy like it's not a clunky word to say. And
it's so fucking clunky.
And so we decide to go see what it is and stop it to save the town because we're nice people. And then this
I'm a nice
mob
guy.
this boss mob shows up, and we have an incredibly tedious boss fight. It's not hard. It's just tedious because every hit you give to the boss immediately goes next and jumps into the water and summons monsters that you have to kill all of before the boss comes back. Oh. And it's not hard. It just takes for fucking ever.
Yeah, it's dumb. Also, I do love just like find you a partner who loves you the way that Hironobu Sakaguchi loves characters being on transit and then a battle happening.
Yes.
Because FF10 does that shit so much.
Yeah. Yeah. FF6 does that famously twice with both the raft versus Ultros and then the train versus the train.
And again, I'm 0% complaining. I love trains. I love boats. I love not having to control a video game and decide where I want to go. I love it when my characters are on a boat and they're hanging out and then they have to do a battle. It's great. I'm for it.
Mm-hmm. So after our tedious boss fight, the light from the thing in the distance gets real big and knocks everybody out. And then Seth has another dream, and it's a real important one, as in it comes up in the next scene. And so I guarantee
the next cutscene, they just fucking assume you read that thing, huh?
Yeah, they do.
they definitely are just like, so you weren't skipping the dreams, were you? You fucking better not have been. Otherwise, this cutscene ain't gonna fucking make sense, bitch. Which is kind of bold.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's real good. So what had happened was, Seth begins her monologue saying like, oh, that guy said that I mentioned is my kid, and also Anera, I killed you with my own hands. And so she was watching Ced grow up, and Seth is like, all right, well, I have my kid, and I have my parrot bird eagle, so I've basically experienced Earth. I'm ready to go back home and do everything. And Gongora's like, yeah, me too. Let's go back home. Let's go to the Tower of Mirrors. and which is important because Gongora mentions the Tower of Mirrors in the next fucking cutscene. But
Totally normal sounding place.
yeah. And so she shows back up there, and Gongora's like, "You imbecile! I don't want to go back home. We're immortal here. I want to win Earth, and I will destroy it because I'm Gongora and I'm evil." And Seth is like, "Oh, fuck no." And Gongora is like, "But you're standing in my way, but I obviously can't kill you, so I have something else in mind, ... And Seth is just like, "Oh shit, I brought my kid and my best friend with me." And so she turns around and she runs back to...
Really should have gotten a babysitter.
Yes. And so she runs back to her ship, and Anera, the bird whose chompers can chomp through metal chains, remember... has like glowing red evil eyes, and has bit off Sed's leg and is just chomping on it when Seth shows up. So Seth is like, "No, how could you?" and like draws her sword to go and fight Anera. And the whole time Seth is like, no, it's not his fault. Like something came over him. Leave him alone. Please don't do it. And Seth then blacks out. Wakes up, and Anera is on top of her with the sword through Anera's body, and then she lost all of her memories because she had to kill her best friend to save her son. And Gongora then rubs it in her face and is like, "You killed Anera, and now you're going. You killed your best friend, the only thing that saved you from this world full of solitude and loneliness that you were trying to escape from. So go and seal yourself back up and take your memories with you." And she does. And that's Seth's backstory, and it's fucked up.
Yeah, she's had a rough time.
Yeah. Real rough. So when we all wake up, our boat has crashed into the dock at Experimental Staff, which is the Blackjack and Hookers Grand Staff that Gongora mentions making in Chapter 1. And it's like if Grand Staff was oozing magic and making it making everything next gen, this one is oozing magic and making everything like poison, and it's like hella unstable. And we're like, well, we gotta go and stop this shit. So we start the dungeon, which is really, really cool, actually. I really liked this dungeon.
It's a good God. The game took a disc and a half to actually have RPG in it and not just be a string of cutscenes. And now that it is, like, I think I like the Black Cave a lot too, and the Sorcerer's Mansion. The dungeons are just fucking good, and this one is the best one yet, for sure.
So, like, what you have to do... Well,
aside from
the bullshit we're real close to getting to.
Yeah, aside from what you're about to say.
So, like, most of the dungeon, you have moving platforms, and you can move some up and down, and you can ride some on a rail. And the fact that you move it up and down while you're not on it, and you ride the sideways ones, becomes a puzzle where it's like, okay, I need to get over there to raise this platform, but then I need to come back over here and ride it to a certain spot so that they'll line up and I can walk through places. And it's real cool, like, all of the ways that they iterate on that. Like, the first couple are just like, for fun, you can raise and lower this platform. Then there's some where they're like, oh, this platform is way lowered off of screen, but we raised it, there's a chest on it, so now you're going to fuck around with every button you see, and because you have to get
the goddamn chest.
And then the other one is like, oh, this one's just like an airport moving sidewalk type thing. It's like the only reason it's there is to show you, oh, you can ride these things. And then it just builds on top of it, and they're real good. And
the layout itself is pretty complex too. It's like 3 or 4 interconnected areas, and you can do the whole thing where you, like Dark Souls style, open up like a shortcut so that you can get back faster, and it opens up more. Which is good because the encounter rate is really high.
There's one part where you open a shortcut to go back to the beginning of the room you did, but also open up a shortcut to go all the way back to the save point. But the shortcut to the save point is one way, but you control which one way it is. So, like, if you write it down, you can write it back up. But if you say write it down, then go explore to try and find chests, and then come up, you don't have that way back down. But it's like there's...
I may not have found that.
That's the elevator. It's the big-ass elevator. And then
the big-ass elevator goes near the save point? I thought it just led to that NPC side quest guy.
Yeah, so you ride the elevator down, and then there's a movable platform. So you ride that movable platform up, and you exit, and there's the save point. Not the save point, but the opening part of the dungeon, which has no monsters, and then your boat, which has a save point in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I didn't really make use of that, but you're right. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, so that's real cool. The thing that's not real cool about this dungeon is there are fucking laser gates everywhere that you need a card key to get through, and to get through those get those card keys, you have to steal them from guards, not beat the guards to a bloody pulp and take it from their corpse like an RPG. No, you have to use the steal command. And
so you don't have any Team Rocket grunts to humiliate in a Pokemon battle, and
nope.
Then they drop their card key as they run away in embarrassment.
Nope.
I love in video games where it's like, if you steal this item, you have it. If you murder the person who had it and loot their corpse, it's gone somehow.
Yeah, it's annoying.
RPG logic.
But unlike, say, trying to remember which game had stealing that we've played on the podcast, and it was 100% drop. I think it was Rogue Galaxy. I don't remember.
Anyway, the drop rate's abysmal.
No, it was Final Fantasy X when you needed grenades. You just would steal from a robot, and you got them every time. Like that was needed. That became a mechanic. Was just you steal from a robot and you get a grenade. Here, you face a guard, and it's like a 10% chance, and also I think
it's fucking lower than that.
Yeah, it's probably lower than that. And I think, but I'm not certain, this could just be confirmation bias, but every time I got a gate pass, I got it on the first time I tried stealing from a particular mob. And so I don't know if I just got lucky those times or if...
No, that's a coincidence. My experience wasn't like that at all.
Okay. Because
I was paying attention because you said that, so I was very intentionally trying to see if what you were saying was right or not, because if it was, that would be very helpful, right? But no, that didn't track with my experience.
Yeah, so I grinded stealing on this one mob for forever and never got it, and then it was my first time the next couple of mobs that I did it. So I'm just talking about the specific enemy units, not the random battles. Okay.
Yeah,
making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, for me, the times, like, there was at least one time specifically where I got into a battle where there were 3 of those little dudes, and I definitely was mashing steel for ages, and then eventually all 3 of them dropped it.
Okay, yeah.
Like one of them would drop it, and then I would kill them. And then the second one dropped it, and I killed him. Actually, no, 2 of them did, and the third one ended up dying on accident because my guys had a counter.
Yeah. So there are 5 gates total. You only need 1, but all of the gates hide treasure chests, and this place blows up in the next cutscene. So it's kind of
Which
important.
means you literally have to.
Yeah.
They're forcing you.
I didn't do it because I had to go to work, and I was running out of playable Lost Odyssey time, and so I'm going to have to see what all I lost and cry and play back again from the beginning of the game, following the speedrun strats to get there in 2 hours. But
well, I will say that the really good item I mentioned earlier with the 3 skill slots, almost positive was not.
Nice.
Pretty sure that's in the town of Simon.
Good. But yeah. So do.
Oh, actually, I'll save you some of the heartache. At least one of the chests. You know how there's a certain kind of chest in this game that's often a side quest reward where you get a weapon and a ring. It's one of those. Don't get me wrong. A weapon is good.
I got one of those in the dungeon. Were there more than one?
Oh shit! Then maybe you already got that one then.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like weapons and rings are good, but they're not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can do more damage, which is different than like I can learn a special new skill. You know.
Yeah. In like most games, if you find a named weapon in a dungeon, it will last you through like the next town's worth of gear, but not here in Lost Odyssey. Like, I got the Demon Killer's Bane sword and the Demon Killer's ring, and I use the ring sometimes if I'm fighting an Earth enemy, and the sword has long been replaced by just something mass-produced from the shop. But,
yeah, it's kind of funny and weird.
But yeah, let's talk about our plot here at the end of it, because that's all we got left.
Did you write about the scene that happens midway through or at the beginning of the dungeon?
Yeah, I just was putting it off to talk about it till now.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we didn't get to the top of the dungeon. Cool, go for it.
So while we're doing our dungeon questing, we see Gungora, like the party sees Gungora off in the distance. We're like, oh, he's here. He's evil. We were trying to find him and kill him. Saves us a trip back to Uhra. Let's go fuck his shit up. We're all
into the game. Final boss. Let's go.
Final boss. Let's do this shit. And
we don't know what a disc is,
right? And so, as we're sneaking in, we hear some guards talk about how they're dismantling the staff to make Grand Staff fully operational again. But the more they try to turn this one off, the more unstable it gets. And at some point, they're not going to be able to save more things from it. It's just going to explode into magic. And I'm like, what did they do to like start creating this for it to just be so unwieldy that trying to stop using it will make it explode twice now? But so then we get a meanwhile scene where we hear Gungora and where we see Gungora, and he's hearing voices that are like, your time has come, return to the Tower of Mirrors, which we now know means go back home, you alien trash. But and Gungora is like, they're calling me, but I won't go back. I belong here. This is my planet. Blah 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 blah. I'm evil, but he looks like hella worse for wear. Like, it's hard for him to ignore this voice he's hearing. So there here in my notes is where I was like, by the way, if you're going to make stealing a requirement for your JRPG, first off, don't. Second off, make the items 100% drop. But
or, make the enemy mob show up more frequently.
Yeah, there were also way too many times during my grind where I got the bug mobs instead. But so when we get to the tip top of the staff, we meet Gungora, and Seth is like, "You what, mate? I'll fucking kill you for what you did to Anira." And I don't know why I wrote this entire bit of my notes in Cockney. I was bored, I guess. But
noted Cockney accent having character, Seth.
Yes.
Yes.
And Gungora is like, I didn't do nothing. It was your blade. You cured Anira. It was all you. Didn't you know that sharing your life with your son was locking Anira away in their own loneliness dungeon? And Ming is just like,
God, I hate that shit.
And Ming is just like, don't listen. Like, he's nuts. And I really thought that Seth was going to get locked up again because she was feeling it, Mr. Krabs. And and so Sarah is like, we must have come to this world for a reason. And Gungora is like, yeah, what is it? And she's just like, actually, I don't have any of my memories back. I just read a lot. So
because of you, asshole. Like, come on. He's right? Like, oh, yeah, I don't remember. It's like, fuck you.
And,
fuck you.
Gungora is like, well, you obviously don't have your memory back after all. And then Jansen is like, oi, fuck you, you dirty eyeball-stealing twat.
Jansen's amazing in this scene.
He's so good in this scene. Like three of these things. Did you write
down a lot of what he says?
I wrote down most of it for my memorable moments. But,
okay, cool.
They're all my memorable moments too. So
cool.
You go ahead with those, Sam.
Right. So, so Gungora is like, well, you betrayed me, so you fit in with these traitors, and we're like, traitors, and then the stormtrooper's like, traitor. But it's like, we came to this world, and you guys wanted to take it over, and I had to lovingly remove your memories so that you wouldn't try to take over this world. Please ignore the fact that I'm taking over the world right now.
Please ignore the fact that I'm extremely evil, obviously.
And so everyone was like, nah. And Kayam
He's doing a bad job of gaslighting.
He really is.
Yeah.
He almost got Seth, but he's not doing good at all for anybody else.
Yeah.
But so Kayam tells the kids to stay and wait, and they're like, "This cheeky bastard offed our mum."
What?
And
You
Gangora
really
is
were
like,
bored. I didn't realize how many of these notes you wrote in Cockney.
a lot of them. And Gangora is like, "Oh, great! More people I can kill to make you lose your memories. Thank you for bringing me the things I need for the memory spell, Kayam."
Don't you mean
great?
thanks, governor?
Oh, thanks,
Once again,
Gov.
Kayam, you should have gotten a babysitter.
Right?
If you're gonna go fight an evil villain, leave the kids at home.
Right?
It's like going to watch an R-rated movie.
That's-
Like, just don't. No, just
That's
don't
the
do
first
it.
page of what to expect when you're expecting. Is if you're going to go and fight a JRPG boss, leave your kids at home.
Leave
Yeah.
your fucking kids at home. It's okay. They're gonna be fine.
I went to see Tropic Thunder with my cousin in the movie theater, and there were definitely little kids there. And
Oh my God.
you know how that movie starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did not walk out. I was
Look, I'm sorry,
shocked.
but if you wanted to live an adult life and be able to do fun things and enjoy all the beautiful bounties the world has to offer, you shouldn't have had a fucking kid, right,
Yeah.
Sam? Once you become a parent, you're not allowed to do anything fun or enjoy life. Sorry.
Yeah, I still have not been able to play Halo 4 since I bought it at Games Fest because most of my gameplay time has Scarlet around me, and she thought that the grunts were scary. Not the elites. She was like, "Ooh, cool, elites." And then the grunts show up because they wave their hands like a spooky monster, and that's all Scarlet paid attention to. And I was like, "No, they're running away from me because I'm the demon, Scarlet."
Yeah, they're literally in mortal fear of me because I'm so good at killing them.
But Gangora is like, "Yeah, I'm super strong now because for the past 30 years you guys have been wee babies and I have still been 1,000-year-old and badass. So I've been training my body much like Nappa in Dragon Ball GT, and I'm not going to get my ass kicked in 2 seconds." But we have a boss fight with him, and I think I'm doing good in this boss fight. He hits pretty strong, but I'm like there with an angel plume because I literally spent like 20,000 gold on healing items for my mortals because I always end up up a shit creek. So I'm
Healing
like,
items
never
are
again.
beautifully not particularly expensive in this game. It's great.
Yeah. And so I bought shitloads, and so I was like, boom, angel plume, Cook, you're back to life. And Sarah, you die, but who gives a shit? You're immortal. I'll see you in 2 turns. Like everything was just like going good, and Cook was using Zephyra, which is the second level heal all spell, and it does like 800 healing each, and all of my mortals have less than 1,000, and only Kayam has over 2,000 right now. And because immortals have, like, not only do they not die because they come back in 2 turns, they also have fucking 2,000 HP.
health, yeah.
It's
You know
ridiculous.
what I love about this shit? This battle system? I really love its use of Dragon Quest style rounds. I love how if I queue up Zephyra, it's going to come at the end of the turn because it's slow.
Yeah.
So, but I love that because I start the round with full health, and then the bad guy is like, haha, I'm going to use Prisma and hit you all for a bunch of damage. But I already fucking queued up Zephyra. So then at the end of the round, fucking so-and-so does the spell, and I'm like, bitch, I'm back to full, asshole. You can't do nothing. It's great. You feel so smart when you, like, preempt the enemy like that. You know what I mean? I love that shit.
And then you also, when you're like, all right, well, next turn I'm going to need Zephyra, and so I'm not going to use Concentrate this turn so that Zephyra will go off next turn, and then all of the mobs are just like, oh, what's that? We have a GC piercing move, and we're just going to punch Cook in the fucking face, and she's going to die before she can cast
Yeah,
it.
that also happens. Yep. Also, support magic is a great. Not only is it great as in very useful, it's such a smart game design idea.
The only thing I don't like is I don't know how to turn it off very well, where it's like...
I think it just lasts for like 3 turns or something.
Okay. Because there's times where I'm like, that was really helpful when I needed Flare All, but now she's just trying to cast, like, Cure Poison, and I could really use Cook to be around for that, but
Eli, so what we're talking about here is one of our characters, Cook. Well, I guess you can teach it to others, but Cook is the one who starts with it, and she's the one who's usually using it. She's a dedicated healer most of the time, and sometimes you don't need healing, right? And in this game, you'll have spells that take multiple entire rounds to charge. And Cook has a spell that costs 20 MP, which isn't a ton, and it's called caster support or spell support. And basically you pick it and you pick someone else, and now Cook is out of the battle. Cook can't do anything for the next 3 turns because she's just helping the other person, and it makes them be able to cast spells way fucking faster.
yeah.
So these insanely powerful spells that hit everyone for motherfuck damage, now you can cast them every turn instead of every 2 turns or every 3 turns.
Gotcha.
Or a heal spell that normally goes at the end of the round, but you really need it right now because you just got hit real hard. It'll cast almost at the very beginning of the round. It's really cool, and I use it almost constantly. That's one of Cook's main functions.
Yeah, it's real good, especially now that I've got Sarah with the level 5 healing magic. I don't rely on Cook for healing as much anymore, so it's fine because she just can make Ming into a fucking powerhouse.
I actually didn't have Cook in this boss battle because I've been rotating them, and I was hurting. Like, not being able to have that as a crutch to have those super fast quick spells was hard.
Yeah, but this boss battle unfortunately is fake. You just have to last 5 rounds. And at the end of the 5 rounds, he casts a spell that kills you, and it doesn't even throw up numbers. It just triggers your death animation and ends the cutscene.
That explains the next cutscene.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have to survive until then?
I think so. It felt
I think
that
so
way.
too. I think so too. Yeah, because the boss battle feels like a real boss battle. They don't make it so hard that you know it's fake, but it's also like pretty hard.
Yeah.
So like, I had a feeling it was fake, but I wasn't positive, so I was still trying to hit him. Like, I was still trying to play it like a real battle.
Yeah.
But every round he has different dialogue, so I was just like, I probably just have to play through this dialogue, or at some point the dialogue will stop and it'll be a real boss battle. Not really sure, so it was cool. Like, it was convincing enough to me that I was still giving it my all, you know?
Yeah. Like he would hit me for like 1,000 damage on a mortal, and so next turn I would healing potion and get him back up. Like I was like,
that's a lot, but if it was a real battle, it wouldn't be absurd, you know?
And so it was cool, but yeah, it looked like he was strong because he didn't have like attack everyone for 1,000. His attack everyone was like 200 tops. But it was his attack 1 that was so big, and I'm like, that tracks for a normal boss battle.
Yeah, like he can kill a mortal in 1 hit. Like that's reasonable for a disc-end motherfucking boss.
Yeah, but it was fake. So we survived.
Fake.
We survived for 5 turns, and then he kills us. And then Tolton wakes up and is like, "Did you just murder kids?" And he's just like, "Yeah, but they were evil kids." And he's like, "Did you just fucking kill the Queen of Numara? I mean, we're at a war, but why would the Queen of Numara be here? Well, let's not think about that. Let's just..."
Gongora does such a bad job here.
She was a doppelganger.
Like, even though Maddie didn't think that Tolton wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid before, there is now no doubt that Tolton is no longer drinking Gongora's Kool-Aid after this scene.
Oh, yeah.
He sort of agrees and goes along with it because he doesn't want to die, but he definitely is just like, "You just killed a kid, dude."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, the queen isn't an assassin. Why would she be here? And he's like, well, they're a threat to your life, so we can't let them live. So let's leave them while this whole place explodes. And Tolton doesn't know about immortals, so he's just like, okay, yeah, I guess since they're already dead, I don't have to save them, and he leaves. So on the ship, Tolton then is chilling out, not even far away, and Gongora turns around and just evil fucking cackles like he's the villain that he is, just like, whoa.
He literally just goes around the corner. He's like, "Excuse me for a moment, Tolton. I have to go do an evil laugh." And he goes right around the corner, and then Tolton sees him around the corner and is like, "Oh, he's evil."
Yeah, it's great. So back on the experimental staff, so was the pendant that Cook was wearing, was that ever brought up? I don't remember that being a thing.
I don't remember that. It could just be like, hey, I guess she has a pendant now. I don't know. I do not remember.
I don't remember.
It could have been mentioned, and I just forgot.
Yeah, I may have forgot. It may have just been like, of course she would wear something to remind her of her mother. But so she's wearing this little pendant, and it like opens up on her chest, and these two like swirly, magic-y JRPG lights come out on the old school charm. The subtitles would say whimsical chiming, but they go and they bring Cook and Mac back to life, and they like catch the glow in their hands. They're like, oh my god, it's mom. And so then they're like, we got to go help everybody, and then they use it to like bring everybody back to life without having to lose all of their memories and everything. And they're like, this should have been in my memorable moments because it's not important, but it's super important to me. Sarah, when she's healed, she goes like, oh my god, Lyrum, and like starts to cry because she feels her baby. And I'm just like,
yeah,
same.
Yeah. It's a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. It's so good.
Proving once again that Kaim doesn't know shit when he said that souls were fake.
Right. Like, before he was like, well, it must be all the magic energy in this place, and that's why it could happen here and only here. And then later it's just like, okay, I guess she's just a fucking ghost, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, Kaim, are you really saying that our treasured memories of our loved ones just caused us to all come back from the dead? Like, come on.
Right. So right as everyone gets up, the place starts to come down, and so we run and we hold X and we get out with maybe one battle, and they give us 12 minutes, and I got out with 9 minutes to spare.
It's not hard at all.
Not at all. Like, they knew they had to give you 12 minutes because if you had bad RNG and you got into more than one fight, I was basically at the door with 11 minutes to spare when I got into that fight, and then I ended up with 9 minutes. So 2 minutes were wasted on a battle. If you had bad
it's tough
RNG,
because the battles do take a long time in this game.
If you had bad RNG in that battle, with getting battles, 12 minutes might be tight. So that's why they gave you so much, but the encounter rate is pretty low in this game. So I just made it all the way through.
If I hadn't been prodding around to make sure I hadn't missed a chest, I may have even had 0 battles, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so we jump on the boat all Mary Tyler Moore style, and it freezes in place, and it fades out, and it asks us to change discs, so we do so for the week. I think we actually see us make it, and we turn around, and it blows up. But I do remember the Mary Tyler Moore freezing in the air.
You see us make it after all?
Yes.
Yeah, no, we do actually see it, like, blow up and shit. And so it's like, it's not like a cliffhanger. It's like, and then they made it out. Yeah. Hooray, the end. You know, yeah.
Yeah, and so we changed discs and stopped for the week. And on the escape route, you hear some maximum Uematsu music. So
the most goddamn Uematsu music that you've ever heard.
Yeah, and it's like the third Seymour fight, but like more somehow.
It is just totally Meadleys versus Squeedleys.
Yeah, it's great. So
and then it switches to playing the main theme of the game.
Yeah, and so we'll also I gotta say, Uematsu doesn't usually leitmotif at all, but he does it a lot in this game, and it's great. It's great. But let's listen to that and then talk about our memorable moments. Eli, what did Jansen do this week?
The Jansen report.
Oh no, I gotta open up the damn video and pull it back up because I didn't write shit down. I was like, Sam's gonna have all the same stuff, so I might as well just let him.
I mean, I have a little bit.
But you like Jansen the most out of the three of us.
We want to give it to you.
Yeah.
He said a lot of great stuff. Oh god, where was it? Fuck.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll share something that isn't Jansen related.
Okay.
My memorable moments. I want to back up just a tiny bit since I actually played last week's shit this week as well, and I just want to talk about, like you said, like you joked earlier, Sam. Disc 1 was everything was just Unreal Engine brown. Everything in this disc is beautiful. I love the graphics of this fucking game. It's super. They're using the Unreal Engine and the power of the Xbox 360 video game console to really do some heavy, like, atmospheric shit. The Witch's Mansion is actually really thick and moody with all these deep colors and mystical effects. And then the town of Saman, again, it's almost like too much. It's like, am I watching, like, does this even take place in the same universe as the rest of the game?
Yeah.
Or have I, like, stepped into playing Okage? You know what I mean? But I love it. It's dark and it's spoopy and it's got all these great graphics.
Speaking of Saman,
and the Black Cave as well. Oh, what?
Speaking of Saman and ghosty things, did you talk to all the ghost cars?
Yes, that was another memorable moment I was going to share.
So there's one of them where you talk to him and he's like, "Man, this town sure is creepy. I wish I was born a boat."
That's really funny. Another one, a different car, says, my life is just one headache after another. Why did I have to be born as a car? And I'm like, wow, this car is very relatable, actually. I guess it's on the subject. Another car says, you never seen a car talk before? Well, I've never seen anyone as idiotic as you before, so I guess we're even, huh?
Yeah.
Overall, and then the final graphics, though, is the Black Cave. The Black Cave also has gorgeous graphics. I like how the cave is big. It's not a tight claustrophobic cave. It's a huge, spacious cavern. Also, it's got area titles like The Great Hall of Foul Creatures.
Yeah.
Or like Maze of Death or something like that. Also...
They also do a real cool thing in the swamp area where your map shows the pathway, but the pathway that it shows is just the safe walk places. It's not the actual walkable places. So if like there's a chest that you see right there and you have full health, just fucking make a break for it and run and go grab it and just cut through it.
Actually the area. The area is just a big open. It's just an open like waist high water, but your map just shows the land. So it's cool. Also, this game, it's funny. I've never thought of Final Fantasy games as being particularly taking design tips from Dragon Quest, even though obviously they do historically. But I've always thought of them as being pretty much like not really looking at Dragon Quest because they do their own thing. This game is like the most like a Dragon Quest of any Final Fantasy game. It takes a lot of hints from it, the round system, but also in this dungeon, it does the thing where you have a top floor and then you fall through holes and you fall into the bottom floor. That's like Dragon Quest 2 was doing that, right? So
you have that?
I'm like,
I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, in the Black Cave. You fall into the swamp area and that's how you get one of the chests.
Oh, wait, no. I don't remember doing that at all.
Maybe
Weird.
you avoided the holes because you were smart and had the firefly that shows where the holes are.
Yeah, it might have been it. I had the firefly the whole time because he was my best friend and we're buddies. And
yeah,
we're going drinking after this.
I admire this game's commitment to always having a gimmick for every dungeon. A dungeon is never just a maze. It's always got some kind of cute gimmick, even if the gimmick is bullshit sometimes, like in the experimental staff. Yes. Eli, have you pulled it up?
Yeah, I'm going through it right now. Sorry.
Cool. No problem.
No, it's fine.
So another one that I had was when they're trying to escape, Mac is really scared because he's a 7-year-old boy and he's like crying into his hands and he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, we're not going to get out of here. Like, we literally just fought like evil space Hitler and we didn't come even close to beating him. Like, what are we going to do? And Chaim is just puts his hand on his shoulders and is like, come on, it's time to go. We'll just do our best. And it It was a real sweet scene. Love that shit.
Speaking of that, yeah, the game is really getting the whole like grandpa / parent theme really heavy, and it's like really good. But I had a gameplay moment of that. I was having a battle where I was fighting some enemies in the Black Cave, I think. No, it was in the Experimental Staff. And it was an enemy that always took, it was one of the weaker enemies. And it'd be like, oh, here's 5 weak enemies and then 1 not weak one. I don't think it was the humanoids, though. Whatever, I don't remember what enemy it was. But point is, I'm playing the game, and they have enough HP where Seth can kill them in 1 hit. Kime can kill them in 1 hit. Flare, level 1 fire spell, will kill them in 1 hit. But Cook cannot kill them in 1 hit. So Cook is having to like smartly supplement other characters. You know what I mean? Strategically. But the point is, he gained like 1 level, and also I gave him just the right ring. Where at one point he goes to hit the enemy, and I got the perfect timing on the ring, and he killed the enemy in 1 hit. And I was like, I'm so proud of my boy. He can kill the enemies in 1 hit now. And like,
you mean Mac? You said Cook.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
Mac. I've been saying Cook this whole time. Okay. Yes, sorry. Mac killed the enemy in 1 hit, which he couldn't do before. And I just felt like so proud of my little baby. And it was like a weird surge of emotion. It was great.
That's awesome.
I have the Jansen report.
Do it.
And I apologize for not writing this down earlier.
It is okay.
When they first get into, and I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the area where Gongor is stumbling around.
It's the top of the staff somewhere.
Yeah, the experimental staff, that's right. So they see Gongora, and Jansen's like, does he have a twin? And then he adds, that proves it, guys without a brain can still walk. Which is great.
So good.
And then after Gongora has tried to gaslight Seth and Sarah, tease Sarah about not having her memories back. I say tease, but it's more like harassed.
Yeah.
Gongora and Jansen have a back and forth, and Jansen mentions the whole magical contact lens thing, and then says, "Oh yeah, I used the pearl that you gave me to erase someone else's memory. Not sure if that's okay. Not sure if that's a problem." And Gongora's like, "No shit, Sherlock. I saw it through your magic contact lens that you just mentioned." To which Jansen replies, "You're a sleazy one, Lord Eyebrows."
Oh, it's so good.
And then he says, "Oh yeah, here's all the gold you gave me to do all that. Neener, neener, neener," and then waves his ass around at Gongor.
Yeah. So the line about the gold, I love so much.
My favorite line.
He goes, "I was about to throw this gold in your face, but I won't," and he puts it back in his pocket so you could just kiss this, and waves his ass at him, and it's beautiful.
I love that. He's like, he still can't stop. He's like, "No, I'm still. Why would I defiantly throw the gold back at the villain? This is my gold. Why would I want to not have it?"
The best way to stick it to him is to keep it.
Right?
That's the funniest shit ever. And what I love is that you can tell it's driving Gongora crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's actually extreme. Like, you know how some people are just super, usually like your best friend, just knows exactly how to get under your skin constantly?
Yeah.
Like, that's what Jansen's doing to Gongora. And even though he's so stupid, like, he's actually being super brave, first of all.
Yeah.
Actually stepping up to the plate, actually being a badass in his own funny way. And Gongora is so fucking irritated.
Yeah, this is the Millennium Falcon swooping in to shoot Darth Vader. Like, that's his moment. But there's another Jansen bit that happens later that I loved. So everything starts falling down, and like you see this big beam like falling like towards the camera, and you see Jansen turn in slow motion. He's like, "Ming," and he reaches out, and they're not even like in trouble, and it's not actually slow mo. He just is woozy from having just died, and he's like, "Sorry, I had a brain freeze."
He goes Ming, and then the camera pulls back, and you just see Ming and Seth like standing up and being like, "Ooh, we're okay."
It's so funny. It's like, it's not something that like would have happened if we were there in the room. It's the fact that like whoever the cinematographer and visual director of this game was wanted Jansen to have another joke, and so it's like fourth wall breaking in a way, and it's It's just fucking magnificent. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
I do not get tired of Jansen's bullshit. Also, like, again, there is something to be said for him. Like, he's the only member of the party that isn't immortal and also isn't, a family member.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to stick around.
Yeah.
You
could
know,
have left a long time ago.
The fact that he does shows that he's really a good guy.
Yeah. He's the heroic normie,
Yeah.
But he's in it, he really is in it. And again, he's got some real good spells. He's got this fucking level 5 black magic Prisma.
Yeah.
Prisma's really good.
Prisma's great. So, like, as a small gameplay understanding, Eli, so Prisma is group damage, but it's a random spell. But Ming knows composite magic, which lets her combine spells together, which can result in an all version of her flare spell, for example. So it can hit everybody but be flare. But flare all takes the turns it takes is 1Z, which doesn't make sense if you're not part of it, but it's like per round your initiative is a letter, and then 1 means it'll take place next round. So it'll be 1Z, it'll be at the end of next round when she finally goes off. Prisma does it random, but is 1C, so it'll happen at the beginning of the next round. So it's like faster but random and hits like a fucking truck, and you don't have to learn extra spells to do it, and it's
and unlike Final Fantasy or whatever, you can't easily do an all spell until you get Ming. There's no all spells in the game, so Prism is like you can hit everyone. It does good fucking damage. And it's fast. The only bad thing about it is a random element on each enemy.
So you might accidentally heal some, and you might do piddly damage on some, but you might.
But if the enemy is, say, non-elemental, then it doesn't matter what element you're hitting them with.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fucking great spell, and it finally had become obsolete, but then he learned Prisma.
Yeah.
Which now is my new best spell. Have you been using random? Have you been using Gamble?
No, I don't have it. That was one of the spells that I needed to go back and get. But I've heard it's amazing.
Gamble only takes 10 MP and it does RNG damage, and it's fucking great. A lot of the time it'll do like 1200 damage.
Nice. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But did you have any last memorable moments, Maddie or Eli?
No, I'm good.
No, I guess just briefly, I wanted to just mention the sound design of the game. A lot of the time, the dungeons, again, 3 of the 4 places we've been to in this game, the Tosca Village from last week, parts of the mansion, the Black Cave, part of the experimental staff, and the other village, all of those don't have music. It's just ambient sound.
So funny story about it not having music. So when I had started playing some this week, I was playing it with Summer and Scarlett in the room, and the music in the voices are not balanced well, just out of the box.
Balance is not great.
So I lowered the music volume, and then I played 3 dungeons in a row that didn't have background music, and I thought I fucking broke it.
That's really funny. No, it's just they just they're like, hey, this is a modern next gen console. We can do like ambient sound now, and it's like real 3D too. Like in the experimental staff, if you get near like a big machine, the big machine sound gets louder as you get closer to it. And it's really effective. I mean, I like having music, especially when it's Uematsu. I mean, God, Uematsu can write the hell out of a factory song, right? The factory song from FF6 is one of the best tracks in the game. But on the other hand, it's like, cool, they're trying something new. Or Uematsu didn't write enough pieces of music and they didn't want to pay him more. One or the other. But they did a good job.
We were talking in chat the other day about how for an 80-hour RPG, this OST isn't very long, so it might actually be part 2, where he's like, they didn't pay me enough to write 2 discs worth of music. You only get 1.
And they're like, fine, we'll do lots of good ambient sound.
Right. But yeah, it's good. I love this game a lot, and I'm real glad
I was
going
to figure out what we're playing next week, and I forgot. Shit, I'm sorry. I was up till 4, though, in my defense.
Yeah.
On to disc 3.
Yeah, we're gonna do disc 3. We will either do 3 or 4 locations, because that's basically what we've been doing each time. 3 is the normal amount that splits the disc into 3. 4 is the amount that splits it into 2. So we will either do 2 episodes for next disc or 3 episodes for next disc. So if you play 3 locations worth, you can probably be okay, and we'll
I can take a look in just a moment, because Disc 3 is my favorite part of the game. It is, I think, by far the highlight of the game is Disc 3. I remember most of what happens in it, so it shouldn't take too long for me to... It's super linear cutscenes, so that's the thing. Playtime, we're fine, but we might want to be careful about not biting off more than we can chew plot-wise.
Yeah. Awesome. We will see everybody in a week. If you want to hang out with us, you can check us out online at www.rpgbook.club, which has links to our social medias, a link to our Discord, and most importantly, a link to our Ko-Fi where you can support what we do here. Shout-outs to Jeff from Twitter, who I may have already shouted out a couple episodes ago, but I'm shouting him out again because he added me on Twitter yesterday. Yay. So shout out to Jeff. You're a trooper. But we also will have on our website a bunch of subscriber-only blog posts that you can get it on the ground floor for. I like writing those. I still have not. We are now practically out of October time, and I have not done anything yet, so I'll have to get on that for October's. But also on the Ko-Fi, if reading blogs is not your thing and telling us what to do is your thing, you can bribe us to play your favorite game like Francesco did and make us play Higurashi. So that first episode is up. It's a fucking wild ride. It's going to continue to be a wild ride for this next episode. But normally as soon as we would finish his second episode, I would put up the commissions back open, but we have a lot of bonus episodes coming for the holidays, and I'm having a baby, so I'll probably open it back up in January. But if you want to commission a designer episode and make us play your favorite game, you can do so.
Designer episode? Is that what we're calling them?
I called them by request, but RPG Book Club by request.
They're bespoke.
Bespoke.
A bespoke episode.
Yes. But yeah, we are playing 2 or 3 things. Let me actually pull up the spoiler-free.
Okay, let's do it right now, and then we can cut it.
So we will do Saman, the Ice Canyon, and the Magic Industry City of Gotza chapter breakdowns on the spoiler-free guide. So as soon as we get into Uhra, we will stop and save at the first available save point. Knowing this game, even though it doesn't let us save on the world map, it probably will have a little cutscene and then a room that has a save point in it. That's its only existence is there to have a save point before the next cutscene starts.
You're right. The game's kind of weirdly good about that, which is nice.
But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie.
Bye, folks.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
When we, I have your uvula at the back of your throat. I have a second.
Heard of it, yeah.
I have a second one of those made out of mucus, and it's fucking won't come out, and I hate it.
Disgusting.
It's so disgusting. But I can't.
Right now, there's a second uvula made of mucus. Eventually, there's going to be a whole other Sam. It'll be like Guiji, but with Sam.
Yes, that's why I have to keep coughing to split them up, so there could be only one.